body's got me weak. You're Mozart in the sheets. You make a sinner out of me. I'ma need a priest, and I'll be singing Holy Mother of Moses. I just wanna buy you roses, open every door that closes, and kiss you from your head to your toes. I like your soul, baby. You got that heart made of gold, baby. I'm gonna love you till I'm old, baby. I just wanna be your baby. I like your soul. I like your soul. I like your soul. I like your soul. Don't need to be undressing to feel like you're impressing. Yeah, you got me singing Holy Mother of Moses. I just wanna buy you roses, open every door that closes, and kiss you from your head to your toes. I like your soul, baby. You got that heart made of gold, baby. I'm gonna love you till I'm old, baby. I just wanna be your baby. I like your soul. I like your soul. I like your soul. I like your soul. And just so you know, I like your soul, baby. I like your soul, baby. You got that heart made of gold, baby. I'm gonna love you till I'm old, baby. I just wanna be your baby.
All right, welcome everybody to our Stories of Hope Live. I am so glad that you're here joining us on this holiday weekend and taking a time out to focus a little bit on your health. And we are excited for the people that we have to share tonight and the information that we have to share tonight. We're going to jump right out the gate with a woman that I have been blessed to know for, and I was just thinking about this, about 24 years. So as long as I have been in Kansas, and that is Shelley Sutton. So Shelley, if you would unmute yourself, we would love to hear your testimony, my friend.
Thank you, Valerie. I'm not sure how excited I am about putting a number on how long we've known each other, but it has been a very, very long time. And it's through you that I have been able to handle some very interesting changes of life issues. Early on, I had been having the effects of menopause. And for me, as my sister is very kindly willing to share, the sweats were horrible and they would hit at any time, anywhere. There was no rhyme or reason. And so I had happened to be into Valerie's shop at that point, and she introduced me to something that was very new. This was just hot off the presses, Soul Vital and Cinnamate. And she suggested kindly that this might solve my problems. Well, that sounds all well and good, but like any normal person, you place your order, you get the package, and then you leave it on your counter for, a month. So when I finally did go ahead and open the packages and start being consistent, within 2 weeks, I did not have hot flashes any longer. And that has been 12 years ago, I believe, which is hard to believe, but something so simple that would take care of something that was driving me crazy. It boggled my mind. And I share that with so many people, just explaining that it doesn't take a lot to take care of these health problems. If you can get your body back into balance, it takes care of yourself. As the company has evolved, we have come up with so many other things that help as well. But for me, just that simple combination of Vital and Cinemate did it.
I appreciate you sharing that story, because I do remember the agonizing back and forth, and we had tried multiple different things and just weren't getting the results. And when you had results that quickly, that's when I realized another facet of the benefits we had and what a game changer this was. And having had your experience, there were so many other women that I was able to guide that direction. And even for myself, I didn't end up dealing with all that. So thank you for testing the waters for us, my dear.
Oh, anytime.
Thank you. So now the question is for our topic, and it's very common in everyday approach to health, especially people that are new and coming into the alternative world, because their exposure is often focused on symptoms. And when they enter our world, in our world with Solle, we find that we look at it a little bit differently. And because we're more concerned about addressing the whole body. And now another good friend of mine, Miss Denise Norbert, is going to take it away and actually explain a little bit more about what foundational approach looks like when it comes to Solle Naturals and our products. So Denise, if you would unmute yourself, we will get you up and running, my friend.
Okay, I am unmuted, and if you know to do my slides, okay? Yeah, I don't do the tech part. I don't like it. So thank you, Val. Has this light ever come on in your car? What is your reaction? Do you feel a little panicky? Do you want to get your car over to the side of the road as quick as possible? Do you do something to figure out what is going on? So basically, if you haven't seen this, this is an oil light in a car, and it comes on when your oil levels are off. And one of the things that it indicates is that it could be dangerous to keep driving, because if you are totally out of oil, which is unlikely but possible, then your engine can seize up no matter how fast you're going or where you are. So what we want is to, I got to stop looking at the comments. Hold on a second. Okay. What you want to do is to pull over and check out and see what is making it happen, and to make sure that your car has everything it needs to run properly. So let's just give an example. Wait a minute, what slide is that? I'm still on the oil can. And that's not my next slide. I can't really see it. Anyway, you can put it up there because I'm sure it's close. So let's just give an example. The light in my car is on, and it's super inconvenient because it's shining in my eyes. And really, I'm late where I'm going. So I don't have time to deal with this. So I know how to take care of it, though, because I have my grocery list right over here. It's the perfect size. I'm just going to put it right up in front of that light, and voila, problem solved, right? Well, we all know that that probably wouldn't be the greatest idea, because down the road I could experience bigger problems. and instead of just, taking the little inconvenient time and getting to the bottom of it now. So this analogy I love because it has so many parallels to our health. And as we go through the next few minutes, let's look at some of those parallels. So the next slide. So here's a thought question for you. When I have some issues or symptoms in my body, what is my thought process? And it is the thought process. Do I try to figure out how I can make the symptoms stop because it's annoying or painful? Or do I think, I wonder what's out of balance in my body that's causing this annoying symptom? Slide. Okay. So there are really two fundamentally different ways of thinking. One is foundational, holistic, and long-term, and the other one is short-term and more symptomatic. So this is actually more common because it's more of the medical way of thinking, and we're brought up in a medical society of like squashing symptoms and putting band-aids on things. So I have a choice, just like I did with my car. I can pull the car over, I can figure out what's wrong with the oil, or I can just, get rid of the symptom because it's really cramping my style and I just want to get on with life. So I just want to make it stop. And so in the last couple of minutes, let's look at another analogy. So now go back to the tree. Sorry, this is not the slide set, but so how does the tree parallel our health? Well, this brings to mind a story of mine of a friend who has a lot of cedar trees on his property. We were visiting him and I noticed these like pipes are in the ground, and they were all around the trees that were sick. And the reason that was there was because the tree doctor, whatever they're called, knew that through the roots is how he was going to get those trees healthy again. So he knew that health starts in the roots and disease also starts in the roots. So with a healthy root system, that tree is going to withstand the storms that come against it, or the insects that try to invade the bark, or whatever malady that can come upon a tree. It's going to become resistant to it. It's going to become resilient. Those strong, deep roots are stability for the tree. And we can build strong roots in our health too, by the little decisions that we make every day, like taking the Bella Health program, for example. It seems like in the moment, it doesn't make a huge difference in our life, but it most definitely does in the long run when it's added up over time. It's so important to think of our health in a way that's not necessarily just waiting for symptoms to happen. So yes, when symptoms do happen, we can still approach it from a foundational approach, but we can also approach it from a preventative approach. So I have a little challenge for you as I wrap up here, and I would love to encourage you to build health every day. Instead of waiting until symptoms of imbalance appear, life isn't perfect. And no matter how healthy we are, we live in a stressful world with toxins and lots of things in our environment that we have to deal with. And we have to process those. So we're always at some point or another going to have some symptoms to deal with. But we can also shift our mind a little from the foundational approach of dealing with symptoms to the foundational approach of building foundational health through daily activity so that our root system becomes like that of the tree and gives us stability and resilience and resistance to the things that would come upon us, because our health starts at the roots also. So beyond the foundational approach, I would encourage you to think in a little different way than we're brought up with. But my hope for you tonight and for your life is that you may never know the symptoms that you prevented or the diseases that you prevented by taking a foundational approach to your health. Thank you, Val.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Denise. And yes, it is an education process to help people understand the different results we get when you're taking foundational approach to symptomatic approach. But one of my favorite results is the fact that we're actually getting closer to taking charge of our health and not seeing those symptoms show up as often, and sometimes not ever seeing them again. So thank you, Denise. And of course, one of the reasons that Solle and works so well is our adaptogens that are in these products. And that's what helps us have a big game changer when it comes with that foundational approach. So we have another testimony here, right here. And you heard Denise referencing the Bella Health program. And so this is a perfectly timed testimony from Annalisa. And here she is, she's talking about, says she's postmenopausal. And what I love is this right here. The more consistent she is with her Bella Health program, she is getting rid of different types of issues like Denise and I were talking about. She's not dealing with the night sweats and the hot flashes like she used to. Her overall gut health and hormonal health is improving. Her energy is becoming more consistent and helps take her through the week. Whereas before she used to take naps on a daily basis. Her sleep's improving. Her nighttime routine is better. She's not having challenges with going to sleep. And now she's waking up rested. And for any of you that have dealt with this time of your life, it's one of those unexpected things that a lot of us, and I say that because I've been through menopause, are not shown ahead of time, or women don't talk about that insomnia can become an issue. So I love that she's sharing this, and how when we get in and start working with those Bella Health, addressing the foundation with the Bella Health program, just like Denise said, hopefully you will never know the issues that you prevented because they simply don't show up. And now I'd like to suggest that all of you take out a pen and paper as we get the opportunity to and honor to hear from Greg Halliday, which is Solle Naturals president and founder. And I am honored to say that he is a good friend of mine. So with that, we will have Greg unmute and take it away from here.
Thank you, Val, and thanks, Denise, and everyone who's shared so far. I love being on and learning. I got to tell you, that picture of the tree, it really got me thinking tonight how enlightening it is to actually see an entire tree, because we never do. We see the top half, and sitting here thinking, and maybe part of it's because we're thinking about the symbolism in health, but actually I was thinking about all plants. Really, if you're looking at the entire plant, the picture should look more like that one. We just look at the top half, the rest is all covered. And yet the part that changes it, that has the biggest impact, I mean, for sure, the top, storms and hail and things can have an impact, but they're temporary. The things that have the long-term impact all happen in the part of the plant we don't see. There's a lot to think about there for our own health. And Bella Health is really a continuation of that thought, because I don't know if I've shared this before. When the Bella Health package was named, when it was born, we were sitting in an office here, just a couple of doors down from where I'm sitting tonight, with a couple who, a great part of what they did in health was work with hospitals, believe it or not, and certain doctors who they had come to know over the years, and from whom they were referred patients who were seriously overweight, like 300 pounds overweight. So they were, 400 pounds, people that were in this range, where their whole life, their entire life was what would you want to call it? Pigeonholed, severely limited is maybe a better word. And this is the package they wanted. And if you look at this package, you're not going to see a weight loss product. You're really not. But this is the package they wanted. They were very specific about it. Some packages there's a certain blend. There's always important reasons for what's in the package. But this one, you'll notice, one thing that maybe might catch your attention right off the bat is there's 2 of one product, 2 bottles of Vertizymes, okay, in this package, which is not a really, really big package, okay, and yet you've got this emphasis there. So I don't know, that's just a little tidbit, but it goes right back to what Denise talked about in the picture of the tree. They had both worked in natural health, particularly the woman. The husband was more in a supportive role, and he did have some quite a bit of exposure to natural health, but it was his wife who was the driving force and the expert and really the consultant with all of these people. And what she wanted to do was put their body in balance. And when she was told about Solle from someone else, this was the very beginning. We only had 7 products, just so you know, when this package was put together. And so of those 7, they took 4. 1, 2, I guess we had 8 but they took these 4. And they knew about feeding the roots and the power of the body in changing everything when you make these life-changing little changes every day. And they would work with people and needed to see improvement in the short term too. So this isn't just about, I'm doing this for years down the road, because in fact, people who would get on this would see significant changes in a number of important health, I guess, to Denise's analogy, the oil light and the check engine light and the temperature gauge and the tire pressure, they would see changes in all those little monitors that would start happening from this program. So I really, really love, this is now almost 10 years that this package has been around. So it is very, very tested. And that, I guess you could kind of call it more of a severe situation, right? When you're talking, these are 400 pounds. Individuals that are in that situation, a lot of things are out of balance. I think over time, people have seen how it virtually will work on all situations in all of our lives. And that I just want to second what both Denise and Valerie said. Let's not wait for the symptoms to appear. And honestly, I think we all have, no matter if we're not waiting, we're really trying hard. Like Denise said, half the trees sticking out in the weather and things are happening, stresses are coming and toxins and wind and hail sometimes. And sometimes a big old tractor comes driving over the top of it and knocks a branch off. Something like that happens in life. Okay, this is why this package, I would say it's sort of the core of the core. So if you think of products, and Solle products are all designed to nourish both body and mind. They are, and they all are core. You could define them all as core, but the center of the core, the Tootsie Roll center of the lollipop. Okay, yeah, that's the era I come from. Would be this package, because Solle Vital and Cinemate, and I'll just do a quick rundown of why it's so core. Remember that Solle Vital has 3 groups of herbs. It has a group that is really, really rich in chlorophylls, the pigment that is present in almost all plants. Why? Now there's something to meditate on. Why should we be eating them? And why is it virtually everywhere? What does it do? Well, chlorophyll, not only does it detoxify gently, and safely, ultimately infinitely scalable, how much of that we can bring into our diet. And it's a little different in the components that come with it in each plant. That's why we have it from 4 different plants in Soul Vital. And in this form, probably 15 or 20 times more potent than in a liquid form, because it doesn't degrade. There's no degradation when it's in a powder form and sealed. These are just a couple of differences in Soul Vital. But not only does it do this wonderful, gentle yet really efficient detoxing, but it is very protective from chemicals, from electrochemicals. I know that part people are like, whoa, what? Okay, but there's some really good research. And I'm talking about protecting your vital organs, okay, protecting the vital processes of the body. There were some great studies that came out on chlorophyll and radiation protection, believe it or not. Think about how many forms of radiation there are, not just like the most harmful, the most, severe in a moment, but all the more gentle, but over time corrosive. We live in a technological world. Cell phones are amazing for how we can help people, and everything else about them. Let's talk. There's a lot that's being known, and there's a lot about. And I'm really not trying to be overly alarmist, but there's a lot that's not going to be known for 40 years about the impacts of those signals, stuck to our ear or in our pocket and all around us constantly all day. Those are just 2 quick examples, but I think if we think it through, that's part of the world we live in, and these plants are also part of it, and these chlorophylls can do a wonderful job. And I've only hit a couple of things on chlorophyll, so that's just 1/3 of the green box. Then you have these really high mineral plants, 4 of them, that also are in particular strong tonics and builders of lungs and heart and liver and kidney. Someone asked me, do we have, early on when we had those 7 products, we need something for the kidney. Well, since then we've developed many more that do wonderful things for kidneys. But guess what? This one's fantastic, Soul Vital. I could not put it on 10 pages if I listed all the experiences I've heard just in the last year with any degree of imbalance in the kidney. And every degree is a better way of saying of imbalance there, just from this daily nutritional habit at differing levels depending on the need. So you've got these wonderful minerals that fill that bank that honestly is involved in everything. Okay, because the mineral depletion in foods is one of the biggies. It's just one of the big lacks that is connected into so many of the issues of the little light bulbs that turn on, our health light bulbs. And then finally, I'm still in Vital. I promise I'm not going to take this long on all the products, but in Vital is like where it starts. And then you have 6 herbs that are adaptogens that we've simply named them. A Russian scientist named them. They have been utilized and have been around and known about for thousands of years. And I'm grateful that we can describe them more fully and hopefully educate and bring more people into this knowledge that these can be used in whatever levels. It cannot be an adaptogen without being safe for daily use in levels that are needed, and dealing with our whole stress response and dealing at the very center of how our body creates energy. That's the definition. If you look at some of the major researchers, Panosian, if I'm pronouncing the name right, published for years on them, and will always, with that group of research, they will always state that adaptogens are metabolic regulators. So metabolism is a huge overarching process. It's not simply how we burn food for energy. It's how we break them down and make building blocks to repair the body too. And it's how we eliminate so that the body is efficient and energy and things that need to flow, like the blood and the lymph and nerve signals and everything that needs to flow can flow. So adaptogens are right at the middle, right there at the core part of all of that too. All of that's in Soul Vital. So I spent all this time talking about Vital. Let me just give you, I'm sorry, tonight's just going to be like the 2-sentence on the others since all the time was on Vital. But Cinnamomati is equally core. It is equally core in terms of supplying a super broad, more than you'll find in any multivitamin by far, of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, amino acids that lift the body. Because we do mostly chronically operate a little under-energized, hence imbalances, hence that feeling that we just can't get over the hump. And so I know I'm generalizing, but Cinnamate is all about that, with a special attention to how the body absorbs and processes sugars. Because let's be honest, it's at the top of the list. If it's not at the top of the list, it's in the top 2 or 3. And who really can rank them anyway? What are the largest health concerns right now in our society everywhere? Well, Cinnamate addresses that. To not even mention the emotional side. I mean, I always love Denise's comment about Cinnamate. It's a hug in a mug. Her hug in a mug. I don't know if you invented that, Denise, or someone else said it and you loved it. You've just said it to me several times. And because one influences the other, and it's right at the core. So those two are an amazing combo. And I'm not surprised, thinking of the adaptogens and how they deal with the whole HPA axis that Dr. Allison talks about, and how that influences hormone regulation. So therefore, no surprise that Shelley had the experience she had. What Bella Health does is it brings those two signature drinks, which are at the core of the core, and then it brings in 2 other equally core elements, your plant-based enzymes that are triggers and enablers of so many restorative processes of the body, Veritazymes, with the probiotics, this microbiome that's constantly being affected and damaged and depleted. That's the probiotics. You bring those two in here. And again, I know I'm sort of really overgeneralizing, but that's what I think of when I step back and look at Bella Health and why is it so useful. I will give you my final thought for tonight. The other reason why I absolutely love this package 10 years ago, and I love it just as much today, is because of this whole discussion of our approach to health. And I always remember something that Chris DeVilliers says that I've loved, that she said. She says, I try to meet people where they are. See, that's been one of her defining sort of mottos as she's helped people, meeting people where they are. She's written it on a few things, right? We've seen that there. And so people do need to see something to get hope while they're educating and while they're seeing this. Bella Health is a very reasonable package that packs a huge punch for your roots, but leaves room for mentors like we've heard from tonight. And we can look on the screen and see tonight, to personalize a little bit what you're going through and add a little more targeted products for certain things in Solle that people that are really, really kind of a bright light right in their eyes right now, and I can't even drive. To take Denise's analogy, and sometimes I know I need to work on the core, but I can't see. Please let me do something about that bright light. Okay, so Bella Health is a package which leaves room for that personalization, which might be another product or two. And so I love the package, and I've talked too long, so I better be quiet. Valerie, back to you.
Thank you, Greg. And I will say that over the course of the 10 years, I'd say 90 to 95% of the starting protocol that I use for people is Bella Health, plus that one or other thing to address their light, like you said, and it is a game changer. So thank you. And while we have you here, we have part of the Solle Certain Guarantee is talking about how we optimize batch size to ensure our maximum product freshness. Could you take a minute or two and expand on that a little bit, please?
Yes, I promise, just a minute or two, because this one is a pretty straightforward point from Solle Certain. We deal with natural flavors, and that's the answer for that. Most things that we deal with are dried powders that have a super long shelf life. And though we will put, you'll see 2 and 3 years on Solle products, they keep an excellent potency for much, much longer than that. If you want to sort of confirm that, save a bottle of something, a capsule, hide it from yourself for do like a time capsule for 5 or 10 years, pull it out and use it, and then tell me what happened. because I've done that, okay? But the real reason is take the drinks, and I love because our picture here is showing the 4 signature drinks. We don't use artificial overly processed flavors. It would be so much easier. Just tell you, that's why everybody does it. The same flavor every time, and and also not good for you. Okay, and also, so natural, you excuse me, you get a little variation here and there, but the natural flavors, they will over time degrade, even in a beautiful sealed pouch like this. I'll tell you, if you end up in a situation, most people don't, where you need to keep something over longer, like say you have like emergency storage, food storage like that, I will tell you a secret. Take those pouches, leave them in that sealed bag like the 100 count, or in a, even more so for longer term, anything like a Solle Complete bag or the Solle Royal that has the metal inside, which seals even further. It just will seal those flavors, the natural flavors, even longer. So that's the reason we do we have certain batch sizes. We try to target 3 to 6 months. And when you come out, if you come this October, you'll see it. That's where we limit. We could make more. It would make Blake's life easier, and we wouldn't have quite as fresh flavoring. So we do optimize for freshness, because part of it, I know that sounds a little bit like, oh, it's all for flavor. Well, mostly because of what we deal in. Now, some things, not so much. I will say omegas, even though they're an oil and in a soft gel, will have a shorter life than, say, a capsule. So there are some things where it is part of, and I'll tell you, that has to do with a soft gel, whether it's animal or vegetable, like that, the difference between that and a vegetable capsule. So batch size and freshness is not just about taste. It is partially about it, but it is also the more what's the word? The more fragile ingredients that a plant has that might dissipate more quickly. Some aromatics, then they stay more potent, and you get a better result.
Thank you, Greg. And all that attention to the little details makes all the difference, and it shows up with the results that we get. So thank you so much. And now I would love to turn this over to this sweet young lady that I've had the honor of knowing since joining Solle much more in depth, Miss Allie. I do not want to mess up your last name anymore. So Miss Allie, would you unmute yourself and take it from there, please?
Hello, everyone. And it's Begno, Valerie. It's Spanish.
I would have done it right. Oh my goodness.
BT Dub, I love that y'all talked about Bella Health today, because I actually did Bella Health for a year before I got pregnant. And so that, I truly believe, helped my pregnancy run very, very smoothly, just for that little FYI. But hi, everyone. So I am here to talk about the way I do my Solle business. I have accomplished many goals financially through Solle. My biggest one that I would say, or the first one, was my student loans. I actually paid off my student loans in 4.5 years. And within that 4.5 years, I was able to go to China for 2 weeks. So I was able to, still make that residual income while, traveling and different things like that. I do want to say I am a Solle original. I've been with Solle for 10 years. So my journey is 10 years worth of the business, keeping at it, working at it. Guys, don't give up. Just a little bit every day, a little bit every day. Even one of the things that I would do is I would write down, I check my bank account every day. So I would write down what my bank account is, and then I'd go in and I check my Solle group, and I'll be like, okay, what's my volume with my Solle group? Always like having that intention out there, always being very active. It's just those little itty bitty things. I am also a big fan of emails, making your email groups. That's huge. Being able to have all those contacts. Soul does send out emails. I personally like to get most of my emails. I'm very grateful for my mentor, my mommy, and at Nature's Link, Christine DeVilliers. And she blessed me with, or her group, should I say, we're able to kind of take some of the articles that she has, and we're able to, send that to people. That way you're just staying in contact with people, whether it's an email, mass email once a week, mass email every 2 weeks. Again, it's just staying consistent. Also making phone calls with people, follow up is key. We've heard it over and over and over again, and this is very key. But yeah, that's basically how you say that, the secret to my success. But yeah, I've been very, very blessed with Soul, physically, in relationships, being able to be closer to my sister, who on adaptogenic herbs, we probably wouldn't have been able to stay in the same room with each other for more than about an hour. Now we're able to enjoy each other's company. That's meant a lot to me. Again, with the Soul products, I was able to have an amazing pregnancy, and being able to navigate through postpartum that I'm going through right now. So yeah, Soul has definitely benefited in a way. And then of course, y'all see my picture, 10 years in the making, 10 years of dreaming about my Soul vehicle. And we finally accomplished that, me and my husband, this year. And it does have red interior, just to let y'all know, and it matches the Cinemate box.
Allie, I just love you so much in your heart, and thank you so much for sharing. And you're right, I've watched you all these years, your consistency, you have just never stopped, and you've just been able to plug away. And when you gave me your tagline about dreaming with your eyes wide open, I thought you couldn't have picked anything better. So thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your Soul journey, my dear. And with that in mind, I mean, this is a great opportunity. If you've ever thought about joining the Soul business, right now we have an opportunity where you can join for just $25. And when you sign up your first member, you can get $25 back. So if you have any interest in this, make sure you reach out and talk to your mentor or the person who invited you to join us tonight, because we would love to have you join us on this journey and be a part of seeing all the lives that get changed for the better. This ripple effect and this journey is just amazing. We also want to hear your story. If you have a Soul testimony, please reach out to us. Any of us that you see on this call, or myself, Kristen, Corinne, Denise, any of us, let us know, because you never know who might just be waiting to hear those few words of hope, that inspiration that got from their story, to know that there's possibility that their life could get better. Please reach out to us. We want to get your story out here for everyone to hear. And of course, too, don't forget, we have a group, the Stories of Hope group on Facebook, where we have got a lot of testimonies are collected in there, whether it's things that have to do with health or with business. We also stream this live into the group. So hunt it down, ask to join it. We'd love to have you be a part of it. And if you'd also like to have a reminder that gets sent out in about 15 minutes before we go live on Monday nights, just text the word HOPE to 1-866-256-1970. And again, thank you everybody for taking your time and joining us. Loved having you guys join us, and cannot wait to see you next Monday night.